been seeking for 400 years overnight. That's what he said. That's justice. Peace, peace. Any questions?
Yes, everyone. Yes, so we're going to take to the audience for a question right now.
Peace, peace. Very good lecture, sir. Earlier in your lecture, you mentioned 66 trillion years ago, and you made a comparison with Yakub, the graphic of the devil. My question is, 66 trillion years ago, was that a judgment? And if so, if that was a judgment, then the devil wasn't destroyed then. What would make us believe that the devil will be destroyed in us?
Very good question. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in his 1973 Savior's Day address. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when Allah created himself, he saw in himself an unrefined germ, but he didn't refine it because there was great wisdom to be taught, but it would take trillions of years down through the line of time for us to learn this. And he says, the white man, or the making of the white man, is that germ in reality. So therefore, the man who wanted to destroy all blacks because we wouldn't speak the same dialect, but the atmospheric condition, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad points out, and the scientists of Earth, called geologists and agronomists and geographers and what have you, they understand that the atmospheric composition of what we call air does not allow us to speak the same dialect. But we had to get the process of reducing ourselves down to a point where other than self or white could rule self, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And the man who is the author of what we call Moon today and the God who was dissatisfied with our dialect was the beginning of that. But the central idea, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, was to destroy the black man. And Yakub is the one who produced that particular element or people called white to do just that. And by us extracting that germ out of us to the last stage called white, that ensures that there'll never be another devil. Remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and our Savior has arrived, he, Allah, makes all things new. The first thing that Allah does is operate on us so that we will never, ever have anything called the devil or anything opposed to righteousness again. Knowing what to look for now and knowing what to do in order to excise or remove that forever. This is why Yakub is given credit for unlike attracts and likes repel, because he brought it to its final stage called white. And now scientifically, we know what to do to never allow that again. So it was the beginning of the idea called judgment. But the reality of it, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, took 66 trillion years to reach that turning point of that idea. And now we have the God to execute judgment or burn that idea and the product of that idea up forever. Remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, after 20 years in our own civilization, we won't remember this world. We won't even speak the language of this world. So therefore, we can't conceive of the goings on of this world. So that will lock the door to unrighteousness once and forever.
Yes, we have a question from Brother Hatem last week that we were unable to get to. And we told him we would ask this question this week. His question was, if Jesus' teachings was not Christianity, then what was Jesus' teachings?
Good question. That which the Holy Quran says all the prophets' religions was Islam.
Yes, praise be to Allah Muhammad. We have another question from Sister Hadia online. She said, the question is, because justice is so elusive, how will we know we are receiving full and true justice?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us everything that is written of the time and what must be done is written in the scriptures. He says that there is nothing of the life of the messenger that is not written in the book. He said every step of work that I take can be read in the light of history. So therefore, the extermination of injustice can be confirmed in what the prophets call the scriptures to lead us up to the last day and time, called judgment and resurrection, the day called Bible and Holy Quran. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that these two books only take us up to the door. And he speaks about a book called the Great Book that is safeguarded there in Mecca, from which this present Bible and Holy Quran comes from. So therefore, we, the scientists, and the God of the scientists are well aware of confirmation of all of these ideas. But the first thing we have to get on board with is submission to the God that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we must submit to in order to know if justice has prevailed.
Yes, sir. We're going to go to the audience for a question.
Praise be to Allah Muhammad. Very good lecture, sir. My question and asking for you to elaborate a little bit is that when you were talking about justice, when you look at the global picture of when white people first came into power and started ruling on a mass global scale, Central America, South America, basically everybody of color, every non-white country, non-white people have been ruled by white people, taking their materials and their minerals and their resources, and like you mentioned earlier, like selling it back to them in a just manner. So the key word that you mentioned, eventual, meaning eventually the tide will be turned. Eventually, justice or everything that is rightfully theirs will be returned to them, or will they have to fight for these things? Could you elaborate either way?
Yes, sir. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, give you nothing, get it yourself. This goes for that which was stolen from self. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you have those so-called American Negroes running around this country saying that we are equal with the white man, when the white man controls and owns everything. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, according to the scriptures and revelations, that when we are able to break the power of the beast, of the dragon, then we are equal with them, and they will submit to our demands and will give us what we demand accordingly. So this is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is pointing out to us, that all of these things, all of these lands, all of these resources that have been taken from us by these devils, by deception, the Berlin Conference, the Brussels Conference, all of the theft that they have earmarked and designed to do evil, the International Criminal Court in The Hague, all of these things, international law, the credit system, all of these things were devised by these devils to, as they say, usurp, to take power by deception, and that which they couldn't by what they call hegemony, might of arms. But they all know, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that the day would come that the God or the Lord of all the worlds would come and give everyone their just portion of the earth. And when he does that, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, where does that leave the white man? Nowhere. So fight we must. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, secular ideas will not work. Political revolutions will not work. Secular revolutions are a idea that all other people are fighting for today when they don't have the might of arms, they don't have the resource or logistical support to do these things. The only way they can win is with God. It's obvious. So therefore, in order to get it, we have to fight with the ablest of general, who is Muhammad, and fight in the way that only he knows how. And we're not going to divulge strategic and tactical operations before their time, but fight we must.
Yes, praise be to Allah Muhammad. Brother Nasheed would like to know on Facebook, what will that justice look like for the black man and woman here in America?
That's a good question. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and our Savior has arrived, and he, Allah, makes all things new. He says that what Allah will have for you and I, the black man, once he removes the white man, he said it will create a earth, a heavens and earth that is so beautiful. He says that the scripture says it will look like a new heaven and a new earth, though it is the old. The atmospheric conditions produce when we're not destroying that which has never disobeyed Allah, the earth. when we are interacting with it the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says God has always treated his creation with righteousness, freedom, justice, and equality, of which earth also means spiritually man. The interaction or equality of man will create an atmospheric condition that he said the only thing that we can use as a reference today of what it will look like tomorrow is the present love and unity of the brotherhood of Islam that is experienced 5 times a day in prayer.
Yes, sir. We're going to go to the audience for another question, and then we have a few more questions on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Our question is, if our Father said that justice is the eventual working out of the will of God, why now?
Very good question. And the answer to that is God said so.
Yes, praise be to Allah Muhammad. Brother Nasheed had another question. In fact, let's go to another question first, and then we'll come back to his to give someone else a chance to ask a question. Brother Jahaz said, my question is, during this time of judgment, how will the devil be executed?
As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, out of his own books, with justice. He has a system of jurisprudence called law, wherein they say that America is a country established upon laws and is operated on the spirit and rule of law. So we're going to see how that works out when God takes their own books and judges them accordingly. That's how they will be judged, and that's how they will be tried, that's how they will be judged, and that's how they will be executed.
Yes, sir. Brother Muta, I wanted to know what page in Message to the Black Man does it say about returning to build in Ghana?
Say that again.
He's mentioning that he's referring to our father mentioned going to rebuild in Ghana. He wanted to know where that can be found, what page or what book.
Message to the Black Man, I believe it's 228 or 229, where the pardon me, 328. That's an answer to the critics, where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was answering J.B. Stoner with regards to, he's saying, if you Black Africans had any pride and any ability, you would go back to Ghana and help build a great African nation. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was responding to that, and starts on 328.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to go back to Brother Nasheed's second question. He said, if Master Farad Muhammad of 1930 was from the tribe of Khawaja, then was one of his parents from that tribe?
Say that again.
He said, if Master Farad Muhammad of 1930 was from the tribe of Khawaja, then was one of his parents from that tribe?
Yes, sir. He is of the same tribe that Muhammad of 1400 years ago. May he forever be one with Allah, the tribe of Khawaja. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad points this out, and Our Savior Has Arrived on page 70. He says that you have some Arab scholars who say that the Holy One from Mount Paran is Muhammad. And he said, that is true. He said, but not Muhammad of the past. He said, this is a reference to one coming from the family of Muhammad under his name, under the title Mahdi. So this is referring to Farad in 1930, who was of the same tribe, Khawaja.
Okay, so we have time for one more question from someone in the audience.
Yes, sir. Peace, peace. There's a saying that sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Right now, words are hurting a lot of people in the Black community and the youth behind statements that's being made by, in particular, a Black reporter about Kobe Bryant. And what the question is, how do we reconcile the disputes between the youth and the adults that's going on today, in particular at this time? Her name is Gayle King, and she made a statement, and there's a lot of fire and emotion and pain coming back at her, a Black woman. Could you address that perhaps briefly, sir? Thank you.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the white man doesn't want us to leave him, so he educates us. And when he educates us, he makes us like himself. And education from the white man is indoctrination, which is centered around self-hate, self-destruction, divide and conquer. This is an element of that idea. You can pick the subject or the topic or the issue, but the results would be the same because the idea is the same. Keep you divided. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, we can solve any problem that confronts us as a people, so long as we get together among ourselves, by ourselves, and keep the white man out of our problems. So therefore, unity, seclusion is the key. It doesn't matter if that's the issue, it's going to be something else tomorrow. And at the heart of it will be the spin masters of the white man, the local, or as they say, the fourth estate, the journalists who will promote the idea that the government and the powers that be, which have not our interests at heart, they will promote it to their satisfaction and to our destruction or conflict. So therefore, it doesn't matter the issue. Separation is the key, and unification of self under our own knowledge that creates the spirit of love and unity will resolve any of that.
Yes, sir. That concludes our Q&A segment for the day. Can we please give the spokesman a round of applause?
Again, as we say, if we would not fulfill Supreme Minister Ali Mahdi Muhammad, you wouldn't hear no pure Elijah. You would hear something. You wouldn't hear anything close to Elijah. And that's the only thing that's going to save our life. And the devil knows that. This is why they don't want to say anything about Ali Mahdi Muhammad in the New World Nation of Islam. Who's that people over there? Oh, that's the people that everything out of their mouth is, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Whereas the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you see, this is an Elijah-centric civilization and world.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, we don't know nothing if he didn't say nothing about it. And if he says something about it, we stand on it with our very lives, because he has proven that this is the only wisdom that will get us what we yearn for. Salvation and liberation built upon an eternal foundation of righteousness, freedom, justice, and equality under a God that he custom and tailor created for us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. So if it don't work for nobody else, it fits perfectly for us. And Ali Mahdi Muhammad is the cornerstone of preservation of that idea. And we thank Allah and Muhammad so much for him. As we turn the rostrum back to your beloved brother minister and mine, Hadi Ali. Peace be.
So our subject today, brothers and sisters, has been from future Master Farad Muhammad. We haven't held this up yet. At this time, we'd like to give recognition to our brothers and sisters in the jails and prisons and on death row. We, the New World Nation of Islam, have not and will not forget you, our brothers and sisters in the prisons of the United States. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad ordered us, he said, the first work of Master Farad Muhammad is to free the captive believers. We quote what he wrote, and what he sang, we must obey. We will free you from prison in the name of Allah Muhammad. Peace, peace.
Peace.
At this time, we would like to ask if a brother or sister has heard anything that has moved you to want to join onto your own and register with the New World Nation of Islam, Holy Tribe of Shabazz. Sisters, you can see the sister secretary in the rear, and brothers, see the brother secretary in the rear. For those who are watching us live via the internet, please visit our website at www.thenewworldnationofislam.com. That is www.thenewworldnationofislam.com. There is a page entitled Register, where you can download the registration letter, along with our P.O. Box number, where you can mail your letter. Same is true of donations. Anyone wishing to donate to the cause of the New World Nation of Islam, please go to PayPal and use donatenewworld@gmail.com. That's donatenewworld@gmail.com. Praise be to Allah Muhammad. The key to understanding the teachings of the Most Honorable Mr. Elijah Muhammad is to know that the Most Honorable Mr. Elijah Muhammad says what he means and means what he says. We quote what he wrote, and what he say, we must obey. The difference between the old world nation of Islam and the new world nation of Islam is that the new world nation of Islam teaches the presence of Allah in the person of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the last God of the old world and the first God of the new world hereafter. The old world nation of Islam teaches that Elijah is the messenger or apostle, and that the God of 1930, Master Farad Muhammad, will return someday. Ali Mahdi is the supreme authority over the old world nation of Islam and the new world nation of Islam by the order of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Allah, February 26, 1960. Brothers and sisters, nothing is wrong. Everything is in time and on time all the time. History is already written in 25,000 year cycles. Our Father, the Most Honorable Mr. Elijah Muhammad said that before the kingdom can come in, there must be a falling away first. During the night of spiritual darkness, the devil will cast 1/3 of the stars of God down to the ground, but a new sun and a new day under the divine guidance of the great Mahdi will come, and he will turn the hearts of the children back to our Father, the Most Honorable Mr. Elijah Muhammad. The new sun is raised by the Most Honorable Mr. Elijah Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America. Would everyone please rise? Please extend your hands in front of you as if you're about to receive a gift. You may recite along silently as I recite aloud the closing prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the most merciful Master of the day of requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not of those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray. Amen. Amen. Temple service is now over. Peace, peace.
I wish you had.